A very good morning and welcome to yet another edition of the Yes 101's visual radio for the Newsfirst team. I'm Jadabdin.
And for the Newsfirst team, I'm Hashni Pathrana. Before we take a look at your news in detail, let's take a look at your headlines first.
News First headline.
In your top local headlines, Sri Lanka, Iran to ink 5 agreements during Raisi's visit. Top Chinese Communist Party delegate to visit Sri Lanka. Organizations representing industrial workers to hold discussions with Sectorial Oversight Committee on alleviating the impact of the economic crisis. In your international headlines, UK's Sunak promises Rwanda deportation flights will begin in 10 to 12 weeks. And in your sports headlines, Inter secure Serie a title in heated win over Milan.
And now bringing you your news in detail. In local news, Sri Lanka and Iran will sign 5 agreements during the visit of President Dr. Said Ibrahim Raisi to Sri Lanka. Iran's ambassador to Sri Lanka, Ali Reza Dilkosh, speaking exclusive to Newsfirst Zulfiq Farzan yesterday, confirmed that President Dr. Said Ibrahim Raisi will arrive today, while he also confirmed the island nation's Foreign Affairs Minister Ali Sabri. He said that both presidents will engage in discussions of bilateral relations, including on political, economic and cultural matters. On Sunday, Dr. Raisi, before leaving for Pakistan and Sri Lanka, named the strengthening of economic and trade relations with Pakistan and Sri Lanka as one of the goals of this trip, and added, in line with the neighborhood policy, the Islamic Republic of Iran is determined to take new steps in the development and promotion of relations with neighboring countries. Before leaving for Pakistan and Sri Lanka, Dr. Said Ibrahim Raisi stated that this trip is done at the invitation of the presidents of the two friendly countries, and clarified that Pakistan is one of the important countries of South Asia and has long-standing historical and cultural relations with Iran, and political economic relations as well as regional and extra-regional cooperation have always been the focus of the two countries. The president also stated that the development of economic and trade relations with Sri Lanka is one of the goals of his visit to this country, and referring to the significant growth of cooperation between the two countries in the technical and engineering fields, he expressed hope that this trip will be a turning point in improving the level of relations between Iran and Sri Lanka. The highlight of his Sri Lankan visit will be the participation in the opening ceremony and official inauguration of the Uma Oya multipurpose project alongside the Sri Lankan president. Now here's what the Iran's ambassador to Sri Lanka, Ali Reza Dilkosh, had to comment on the matter.
His Excellency Dr. Ibrahim Raisi, the President of the Islamic Republic of Iran, will be paying an official visit to Sri Lanka on Wednesday, April 24th at the official invitation of His Excellency Ranil Wickremesinghe, the Honorable President of Sri Lanka. During this visit, the two presidents will discuss various fields of bilateral relations, including on political, economic, and cultural matters. Additionally, they will jointly inaugurate the Umayyad Multipurpose Development Project on the same day. Also, the accompanying ministers during this visit will sign 5 documents related to bilateral relations with their Sri Lankan counterparts.
Now moving on to more local stories, a Vice Minister of the International Department of the Chinese Communist Party, Sun Haiyan, scheduled to arrive in Sri Lanka today. According to the Thinakaran newspaper, Vice Minister of the International Department of this Chinese Communist Party, Sun Haiyan, will arrive in Sri Lanka today on a 2-day official visit. Now during this visit, she is scheduled to hold discussions with high-ranking government officials, including President Ranil Wickremesinghe and Prime Minister Dinesh Gunawardena.
And moving on to even more local news. Now, relevant organizations representing industrial workers have been called before the Sectoral Oversight Committee on alleviating the impact of the economic crisis on the 25th of April in order to discuss matters related to related to the difficulties faced by industrial workers. Its chairman, MP Gamini Waleboda, says the Credit Information Bureau of Sri Lanka, the Ministry of Industries, the Industrial Development Board, the Department of National Budget of the Ministry of Finance, the Department of Project Management and Monitoring, the Inland Revenue Department, the Department of Supervision of Non-Bank Financial Institutions have been called for the meeting scheduled. He added he is looking forward to holding discussions with relevant institutions on implementing a work plan for small and medium-scale businessmen.
International news.
Now, Jawad, moving on to our international news for this hour. British Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has promised to start sending asylum seekers to Rwanda within 10 to 12 weeks, telling the upper house of parliament that he will force new legislation through despite its opposition to the plan. Sunak said the government had booked commercial charter planes and trained staff to take asylum seekers to Rwanda, a policy he hopes will boost his Conservative Party's flagging fortunes before an election later this year. Now, after weeks of opposition in the House of Lords, which wants to introduce safeguards to the divisive legislation, Sunak said the government would force Parliament to sit late into the night on Monday if necessary to get it passed. Tens of thousands of asylum seekers, many fleeing wars and poverty in Africa, the Middle East and Asia, have reached Britain in recent years by crossing the English Channel in small boats on risky journeys organized by people smuggling gangs.
Sports news.
And now moving on to sports in the footballing arena. Inter Milan won their 20th Serie A title yesterday after a 2-1 win at AC Milan, gave Simone Inzaghi's side an unassailable lead in the standings. Now a goal from Francesco Acerbi and Marcus Thuram in each half proved sufficient to secure Inter's victory, with Fikayo Tomori scoring a late goal to reduce the deficit. Now the match also witnessed 3 red cards in stoppage time, with Milan being reduced to 9 men as tensions flared, with Theo Hernandez and David Calabria getting their marching orders along with Inter's Denzel Dumfries. Now Inter, who have lost only once in the league this season, hold a 17-point advantage over second-placed Milan with 5 matches remaining. With that, we wrap up this edition's Yes 101's Visual Radio. For the Newsfirst team, I've been Jawad Abdin.
And I'm Hashni Patirana. Thank you for watching.